No, I'm just sitting out the front waiting to see if we're summoning anyone else or if we're all inside or what's going on. Hmm. I mean, if we got a tank and a couple of healers, well, it's only on normal, right? We'll send it. Who's this duck down here? I'm assuming it's probably something to do with achievement. Hmm. Rifty, it's your call. Get in there and pet the ducks. Kill the tree. A zoom. Hello. Not much. What are you up to? Checking in. How nice. This guy. Can we get one of the hunters to reset the boss, please? Yes, chef. You can't tell me what to do. You're not my real dad. Oh no, what do I do? Oh, yep, I'm good. Full dagger. A lucky rogue on that boss. Group in close, guys, so that you don't get peered by. Remember, no fell rushing on the platform. Like, did Steffi just live the tail slam? Jesus. Hanky. Jesus Christ. Alerts. Kill the roots. Hey, Lenny. It's doing all right. Can't really complain. It's not a bad raid. Actually, prefer it to the previous one at least. The bosses are more interesting. Yeah, it's good fun. It's I'm just concerned that Ret's not really in a great place. And I've seen the patch notes from like the last 5 patch notes, and it's just like Paladin just never gets mentioned. It's just like nerfs for holy paladins, and that's about it. So, I mean, I've always run as Ret as my main, but like end of last year, I was stuck playing Org, and I just don't want to go back to that. That shit's tilting. You play? Yeah, absolutely. Like I've played Ret since vanilla. It's been, through thick and thin. So, yeah, I don't know. I just want it to be good for once. And then it was good after the rework, and then fucking nerfed to the ground after 2 weeks. I like playing a little bit of flavor of the month every now and then. I usually have like pretty much every character, geared enough to at least clear heroic. But yeah, I don't know. Always come back to the Ret. Just something about it, It's the power fantasy. What class do you play? Yeah. I mean, any class can be good if someone is playing it. I don't know if I'm really that good, but I thought it can. Yeah. I haven't played Resto in quite a long time actually. Probably Resto and like the Green Evoker dude. What's it called? Preservation. I haven't really played a whole lot of Preservation. I don't know. But I actually did play a bit of Resto Chamois back in End of Shadowlands. Really enjoyed playing with the Vesper Totem. And Phaeline was actually really huge as well. Or whatever it was, the Fey Transfusion. That shit was awesome. Yeah, dude. Like actual pumper. It was great in PvP too. I remember watching VODs of Seiju like soloing a DPS player as a Night Fae Resto Shaman. You just like give him the big suck. But yeah, I ran some pretty high keys end of Shadowlands, like 27s, 28s, I think. Um, and yeah, running with a couple of like really decent Resto Chamois, they would do some super damage. So this is normal reclear, and then we're doing heroic after. So we're just redoing this to try and get the rest of the group tier, and then once we're finished getting here, we're basically never coming back here again. But we'll do heroic after this, so we'll clear this in probably the next half an hour, 45 minutes, whatever, and then on to heroic. And I think we got a 7 out of 9 or something heroic cleared so far. Just really new group of people in the raid group. Just because end of last year we had a lot of people leave, so we were 8 out of 9 mythic in the last tier, and we're pretty close to getting cutting edge the tier before that as well. So we've been close a few times, but it just seems like we can't get people to stick around, unfortunately. But it'd be nice to get it at least once before I quit. Yeah. Like having a new fucking, like, thankfully, like, we've had pretty much like a solid mini core, I guess you would say. It's like the same 8 or 9 people that have been sticking around for a while. So that in itself is kind of nice, but it's still, yeah. Because I mean, if you have the same 2 tanks all the time, you really learn, you know, how are my tanks going to move? You know, what kind of decisions do they make? What mechanics do they not deal well with? You know, do I need to help them out on certain things? And you kind of learn that when you're with the same group for a really long time. But then the issue comes out that, you know, you got a bunch of new people and they're kind of lost. They got that huge learning curve. It's basically like adding a Mythic plus affix to Raid. Yeah. Like, I mean, you know, your raid leader knows that there's a certain set of people that they can always rely on to pick this person and they'll be able to do a mechanic. And, you know, we have those people in our group as well, where, you know, you're just like, okay, so if I tell Lem to do a mechanic, he's going to do that mechanic and he's going to do it right. Or he knows that he's ready to be called on if they need someone to cloak and soak something or something like that, right? Like last night when we were progging on Tindril, you know, one of the tanks died and we couldn't get to the mushroom. And so, you know, Stark called him. He's like, Lem, cloak, mushroom. And instantly he did it. But, you know, if we said that to like one of the new hunters, I doubt they would even be ready on their button to know that they need to step in and do something like that. So but, you know, raiding with a larger group of people just do a normal and heroic, it's kind of fun. You know, there's a bit of a vibe going on. If everybody's on the same page, it's kind of, you know, happy and fun. But yeah, look, I mean, at the moment, until we get tier, everybody's kind of on edge. It's like everybody, you know, dog eat dog. Everybody wants to get their own tier filled out. They want to get their best in slot gear. And then, look, I mean, a bunch of them are new recruits. Chances are they're probably not going to stick around once they're geared, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, at least our raid leader's smart enough to split it. So, like, if you get tier in that slot in normal, you can't roll for it in heroic until everybody's got at least a piece of tier in every slot. So, you know, and we're prioritizing, you know, completing a 2-piece over a 3-piece or completing a 4-piece over completing a 2-piece, that kind of thing. So there's at least some thought behind it. But again, you know, it feels rough. Say, for example, you know, we got 30 people here. we might end up gearing 5 people for another guild. And I mean, that's always going to be the reality, right? By the way, how's the audio on the mic? I'm not sure what kind of bitrate this thing gets when I'm streaming on Kick as well. I put a couple of filters on it to try and make it sound a little better, but I don't know. I tweak it every time. It's just hard to find something that I can't. I know. Yeah. Little sharp. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll check it out. I have to rewatch the VOD, but at least it helps me to get a bit of feedback from the audience. I appreciate you dropping by. It's yeah. I've only just started streaming again. I took like a month off. I used to only stream on Twitch, but obviously since they put out the multi-streaming thing, it's, you know, I'm allowed to kind of stream wherever I want, as long as I'm not, you know, telling everybody F Twitch and stuff like that. So, thank you. I appreciate that. Try to, yeah. A little bit hard to multitask. I'm not that good at it, but I'm sure it's such a skill that you pick up. Probably once I get a bigger audience, it'll be a little easier. Like it took me a minute to even see a thing pop up in the top right corner of my next monitor. Maybe I should reorganize where that goes. So you're rating normal, heroic, mythic now? Yeah. Yeah, I know that feeling. It's yeah, I was at that point myself where I was thinking, like, is it even worth me spending six hours a week inside you know, Mythic Raid when I can get the same gear from Mythic Plus? And, you know, really all I'm kind of looking for is just like a challenge, a way to challenge myself. Because I've you know, I'd like to get cutting edge at least once, because that's something I haven't done. And I'd like to get like a rank 1 Ret Paladin in IO score at least once. I got pretty close actually back in BFA. I was number 3 for OCE, so I was pretty close to the top there, but there was still, yeah, still a bit of work to be done. Trying to find a group that'll take a Ret Paladin at its super high keys is really rough. Because I don't really know anyone and I'm on OCE, it's kind of like small pool. Yeah, absolutely. Like, you know, if I'm ever pugging my own key, it's definitely the same thing, right? Like, yeah, I'd rather take like a really good player on a shit class than a really bad player on a good class, right? Like, and a lot of that even comes from my own experience playing like the really good classes and not really being that good on it. Like, I played some Shadow Priest last season, and even though I was doing like 25s, 26s on it, I was like, my DPS is like 30k DPS below where it should be for this particular like dungeon. Like, I've run with good Shadow Priests and I know what kind of damage they do. And I'm like, man, I feel so bad. I feel like a fucking anchor. But, you know, at least I know when to press buttons on the Shadow Priest as well, which is a rarity. You know, at least I can mass dispel a, you know, 6-stack of bursting or something like that. But I've run with some Shadow Priests that can't even do that much. Yeah, absolutely. Like, especially with how close, you know, some of the balancing is. Like, I played Org because I couldn't get into keys as Devastation, and my Org Evoker went from like 1400 to like 3300 in 3 weeks. And in the same time period, my Paladin went from like 30,050 to like 3090 or something like that. Like, just absolutely cracked. Uh, shit. mean, even when Prot Warrior was bad, it was pretty good, right? Like if I remember correctly, because they were really good at the start of Dragonflight, and then they got some pretty big nerfs. But I think I remember seeing even some of them getting rank 1, like Season 1, Season 2. Yeah, like what the fuck was that? I'm like trying to queue into a 20. The key holder's like 2400 IO last season. I was like 3100 on the Pally and 3300 on the Evoker. And I'm like 360 item level. And they won't take me to a 20. I'm like, bro, is it like, what is wrong? This place is so wonky. I don't fucking know, dude. Some people are wild. And like instant decline too. And it's not me like applying to groups that are like weird comps or anything either. You know, it's like I've got a week aura that shows me in the group finder like what classes are in there and everything. So it's like, you know, I'm looking for groups where I would actually fit into the composition, right? Like I'm not going to steal a spot from a Lust or something like that. Yeah. But on the plus side, playing with the Evoker last season, I did make, you know, kind of friends with some of the guys who even got the title last season. So, you know, playing towards the end of the season when everybody else was away, it was kind of like, but the downside is they don't want to play with the Ret Paladin, they want to play with fucking Evoker. Why would you not take a fucking Resto Shaman? Have people not been looking at sub creation or something? Yeah. They'll probably watch him like fucking, what's his name, Eisen or whatever his name is. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And then not only that, but the other thing is that, you know, say for example, if one class is 2% better or has this one niche piece of utility, that the top of the top groups are going to run it because it works for their comp, and everybody just wants to copy that. So it's like, okay, so the top 1% runs, you know, this crease, which means that the, you know, top 10% are also going to want to run this crease, which means that even if they were running Shaman, the issue is that, like, all the best people are now not playing Shaman because Shaman is 2% worse than the next, or 2% worse than the best. So, you know, people just get this immediate perception that they're dog shit when, you know, it's only the people who main it or only the people who, like, really love the class still play it. And, you know, unfortunately that takes, you know, it skims some of the best on off the top. So, you know, the pool of good players at the top of Resto is so much smaller. What the fuck happened to my IQ? Oh, God. Crash the fuck out. Yeah, exactly. You can't do 15s without a disc crease. What are you talking about? How will you ever three chest a plus 15 with a bunch of people in 470 gear? Dude, it's so scuffed. Like, it legit tells me sitting in queue for like literally like an hour and a half to get invited to a fucking plus 18. It's like, Jesus Christ. Whose dick do I have to suck? Yeah. I mean, like, the only times it's been really good is like when fucking Raider IO has break the meta up. It's like, okay, yeah, maybe I can get invited within half an hour instead of an hour. I mean, I would love for it to be different, right? Like, if there was more people playing the game, then it'd be great. But oh, hell yeah, dude! I pump on the Feral. It's actually one of my faves. I love Feral and I love Survival Hunter. I mean, to be fair, Survival was much better at the end of Shadowlands, but I doubt it's ever going to be that strong again. But yeah, I feel like the movement and stuff of the Survival Hunter just, it feels so much more natural and much more fun than Demon Hunter. Like, I've played a little bit of Demon Hunter, but every time I play it, I'm just like, man, it just feels so bland. Like, yeah. The Feral pumps. DH or Nimue. Oh, because you got to dash through the freaking lines, eh? Good luck, mate. I can see him backflipping through the line and just dying instantly. Fire against the old fire. Fucking eat it, Demon Hunters. I mean, we got one. His name is literally Meta Demon Hunter. my momentum. It's not working. We'll get one. Dude, that'd be so raw. Like, there is a little, like, I'm thinking about the pattern on the ground, right? And, like, say, for example, this point is like the same kind of V that you're at that boss. If you're like standing here and you backflip, you'd have enough room. But the issue is, like, if you charge back in, I think it takes you directly in line with the boss, which means you'd go over the apex of the lines. You'd probably get hit by 2 lines instead. Dude, that'd be awesome. Someone's just got to clip a bunch of them, man. Like, stream highlights. Demon Hunter's dying to Nimue. Timing for this is actually really nice for Ret. That's so Style brings his ults for certain bosses so that we can get a lockout. And sometimes he brings them to fill out the 30-man minimum in the raid so that we actually get the extra pieces of loot. So he's just like basically playing them on a second account and third account. Yeah. I mean, it just helps get a bit more loot for the guild without actually bringing in extra people that need to take loot. So, I mean, it does increase the difficulty a little bit, but for the extra 2 pieces of loot, you know, we can kind of handle it. I remember when we did this last week, dude, the seeds right at the end were so fucking scuffed. Like, we ended up winning like 5 out of 6 seeds. Guys, don't drop those orbs on the freaking seeds. I saved a seed. Yeah, I can fucking imagine, dude. You just saw what to Without Nugget DPS did. They just run and drop fucking orbs straight on top of it. Like, excuse me? What a mess. Get it? I don't know why. It's like, I don't know, maybe they think the seed's going to save them from the impact of the fire, but I don't think that's quite. That's not how this works. Do you want burnt seeds? Because this is how you get burnt seeds. Ugh. I've only got one piece of the new tier at the moment because I've been passing and letting everyone else take it. So hopefully I get lucky, and if I pass all the normal tier to everyone else, then I can get lucky on the heroic stuff, and then I don't have as far to upgrade. Got to play it smart, Yeah. I'll huff some copium while I'm at it. I'll do some damage in the end. I promise. Apparently the new tier set's supposed to be really good. I haven't heard much about the Shaman tier set. Is that any good this season? Rough. So you guys not swapping out until you get 4 set and like high item level then? Oh really? Dude, that's kind of fucked. You're basically just running no tier set at like max level. You're just focusing on your best stats. Yeah, right. I was wondering if you guys might be stuck running like 450 tier pieces for the rest of the season. That's also a possibility, right? Like you can go and do the time rifts and the emerald, what's it called? And you get some like 450 item level stuff you can convert into last season's tier. Oh really? Dude, that fucking sad. Yeah, okay. Dude, that is brutal. Because I mean, at least my tier set's worth holding on to at least until I get 4 piece of the new tier. So, it's going to be a while before I swap out my old tier set, but dude, that's fucking grim. Oh, at least you're playing Holy Priest. At least you're playing Disc Priest, right? New Disc main? Yeah. I mean, that is kind of beneficial, right? But I mean, the whole thing about you know, the community wanting to bring tier sets back was that they would be impactful and interesting the way they used to be. But it's just like, if that's the case, I feel like I think Azerite was a better idea, right? At least you could fucking pick and choose. You know, the acquisition for it was dog shit, but at least you got to choose what kind of shit you wanted on it. Hmm. My Paladin's the only one that got tier out of like 12 volts that did keys this week. Oh, ow. Bernie. Yeah, dude. Like Legion, that shit was kind of cracked. And I got fucking super lucky. Like I came back right at the end of Tomb of Sargeras, so just before the last tier in Legion, after being away from the game since like beginning of WoD. And wow, fucking lucky, dude. I mean, I got a few pieces I can convert, but I'm probably gonna sit until I can actually convert like 2 pieces. So we'll see. Because maybe I get some better pieces in the vaults coming up. Because I only do like 1 key on each alt. But yeah, I got like super lucky on back in Legion. Like I got my 2 best in slot legendaries like as soon as I came back. And then after that, it was like I was doing the Entoran Wastes, and I got 2 Titan Forged relics for my Ashbringer at like 985 or something like that, dude. Ridiculous. That's like a special that's got the effect on it, right? The Shadow Flame effect. Jesus, that's pretty big. I actually saw Monk putting out some big numbers in Mythic Plus as well, like averaging like 27k overall. Oh yeah, but I'm talking on average. Not everyone's a pumper like you are. I did like a fucking 17 Galacrons fall on my pallet and I barely managed like 12k DPS, dude. That shit's way overtuned. I was doing like 100k HPS. The tank was doing 100k HPS on the freaking dragons before the slime boss. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Every dragon was just blasting. And I watched some freaking disc priest do it on a 21 and he's like barely breaking a sweat. Yeah, I can imagine, dude. Like, I was like, Divine Toll, freaking Tears Deliverance, Daybreak, and still, like, I died and one other person died. I had to, like, fucking bubble and stack and just, yeah. I had no idea what I was fucking doing to deal with that. It just feels like Holy Shock did nothing. Like I would Holy Shock and their health would go negative. But we did have 2 Demon Hunters. I should have got them to freaking Darkness or something. I mean, it's a 17. How much coordination can you expect out of a pug group, honestly? Uppies on 3rd and then Rally. Another AG on the 4th. Yeah, dude. And then not only that, they're rotating freaking, like if you've got an Org, you're using Rally in there as well, right? Or you're using an actual warrior Rally. Ah, yeah, right. But you have Org as well, if you've got Uppies. No Org. Are you talking about the discreasing where you fly up? Yeah, right. Yeah, been a while since I played disc. I leveled his disc and then pretty much never played it ever again. I should play it again. I actually didn't mind it. The only thing I remember of playing Disc is running through Shadowfang Keep, and the tank died because he pulled too much. Yeah, right. Yeah, because I remember there was like some stupid long cooldown rotation to like get into your proper DPS rotation, right? It was like you had like Schism and then this and then that and then like yeah. Jesus. I mean that's huge. Because like I always felt like my Holy Priest had like too many buttons, and then my Disc Priest had way too many buttons. I played a decent amount of Holy at the end of Shadowlands when that was really strong. It was kind of fun. I was playing what's it called? Kyrian Holy Priest. That stuff was fun. Dude, there was some fun shit in Shadowlands. As shitty as the fucking game was at that point. Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind it that much, but I was already used to micromanaging the shit out of a bunch of buffs because of freaking Ret. Zero fucking wow. Zero paladin tier. I feel like the at least the DPS for Holy at the end of Shadowlands was like super fun. Like running Boon of the Ascended, that shit was just so yeah. Yeah, exactly. What's it called? Cloudburst Totem? You can at least like sit on it, right? I actually feel like healers had really good DPS options back in Shadowlands. Unless I'm misremembering things, like each healer had a pretty solid, like Priest was good with Boon, Shami was good with freaking Vesper Totem. Paladin had what's it called? Ashen Hollow. Even Monk at some point had that like Venti thing, right? Yeah. I mean, they say that, but I think with the new like hero classes coming, I think they're probably going to be like installing like some more, what do you call it? More like support class stuff, like Org. At least that's what I'm hoping. Like, I'd love to see, you know, Paladin get a support class or. Because, I mean, they already have stuff like that. Like, you can always run a. You know, well, I mean, I guess that's part of the reason why Prop Paladin got nerfed so badly, but. Yeah. Because, I mean, especially people are super self sufficient now as well. I got Battle Res. I got 2 out. Yeah. I feel like, yeah, having something like that where you can swap between the, you know, the primary focus without super affecting the way you actually like to play your class, right? Like, you know, say for example, I mean, Paladin's the one that I got the most experience with, but, you know, I prefer playing Paladin with like, you know, more of a melee kind of oriented, you know, Glimmer of Light build. Whereas some of the really good Paladin builds at the moment are like just hard casting heals. And it's like, well, you know, if they want to be hard casting heals, they should be able to do that. But the thing is that, like, in a 5-man group, it's just really not that efficient. So people don't really play it. So it'd be nice to have that little tweak in the middle that's, you know, allowing some personalization of how you want to actually play it while still keeping that type of gameplay that you enjoy about the class? Hmm. Yeah, because I'm not particularly partial to breath builds on the Death Knight, honestly. So but it would be interesting if it gave you kind of maybe more of a pathway to play a like a hybrid between the two without actually sacrificing so much because they're so far apart from each other on the tree. There's just no way that you can play both of them at the same time, right? Come on, neck. Fuck. Unfortunate. Feed. Crit haste. No, they're not my best. Pass. Breath Sucker, relying on the tank, play around you, any talents to give you a little bit more freedom. Yeah, true. Like maybe something like I don't know, like hold your breath or something like that, right? Where it's like, or like frigid lungs or something they can call it, where you can like stop your breath as it is for 30 seconds and stop all consumption of runic power or something like that. But you can't attack for that duration. Something like that would be interesting, right? Because then you could like hold it in between pulls. And then it would make breath much more viable for keys, right? Because like, well, not so much like higher level keys where you've actually got a tank that's, pulling shit consistently. But, sometimes there's keys where it's just like impossible to actually, like say for example, Mist of Tenor Scythe, right? Like right before the first boss, you kill all those big things and then you got this huge stack of freaking runic power. But by the time the boss spawns, you've got like 10 runic power left. That shit would be super annoying. So yeah, being able to like, yeah. And even that, like it'd be like really good in raid too. Because like, say for example, the boss flies up and you can't attack it anymore. You hold your breath and all of a sudden you can go back into it when the boss lands. Or maybe you could, have another one where it's like, split cheeks or something like that, where instead of spraying only directly in front of you, it sprays out all around you or something like that while you're, yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that'd be kind of cool. I could get behind something like that. Not because I'd, necessarily play it all the time, but I feel like that'd just be like a super cool thing for that class to have that, makes it much more fun to play. Yeah, exactly. Like say for example, Tendril in this one where you got to fly between the freaking platforms, but the issue is when you land, the boss has a damage amp, so you already want to be blasting when you land, but you can't run breath because by the time you land, you've got no freaking runic power left, where you have to hold your breath. Oh, dude. My condolences on the Windwalker. I mean, it was good. Back in Shadowlands, I got to like 2700 IO, I think, in season 3. I got, like 2700 on my Windwalker. It is super fun to play. I mean, the Bone Dust Brew gameplay was degenerate. I agree with that, but I mean, it doesn't mean it wasn't fun. But yeah, it's such a mechanically nice class to play. Like, I like the rotation of, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, you know, F4. Like, so like for me, for my monk, I've got like Tiger Palm, Blackout Kick, Spinning Crane Kick, Fist of Fury, Rising Sun Kick, and then used to have Whirling Dragon Punch in 6. I don't remember what I have there now because we're not playing Whirling Dragon Punch anymore. And then, yeah, like F2, F3 is like Tiger and Clones, and then F4 was Strike of the Windlord. Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, it doesn't have to be super OP all the time, right? Like the thing was that Windwalker's overall was really crazy, but if you actually looked at it outside of your Bone Dust Brew on a massive pack, it actually didn't do that much. And that was fine because it had its niche and it had its role in the group and it did something that was, you know, fun. Every 2 minutes, you could be a complete degenerate and just smash your face into one button, and it was super fun. But yeah. Hell yeah, dude. Dude, that shit was super funny. I was like, why am I doing so much less damage than these other Windwalkers? So I actually signed up to the freaking the Discord, the Misty Peaks or whatever it is, Discord. And I was looking at it, and this guy had this graph, and it's like when your crit reaches this certain point and you have Bone Dust Brew out, you no longer start worrying about your mastery, and you just spam Spinning Crane Kick. And I'm like, it all makes sense for me now. But it was just like super weird. Like my first time ever logging into a Discord and seeing a mathematical equation and a fucking, you know, plotted out graph. I'm just like, I didn't think Windwalker monks had it in them. Bet I was super upset when the nerf went out to stop the Shadow Flame kick thing from stacking. That was super funny. Like the only other 2 discords that I've ever joined for WoW was like a Skyhold for Warrior. I was trying to learn how to play Fury, and then I just gave up and just stuck with arms because fuck Fury. But the other one was the Ret Paladin, and it's all just doom and gloom. It's just like Ret buffs when, Ret buffs when, Ret buffs when, and then we got buffed, and then Ret nerfs now, and now back to Ret buffs when. I'm back in a sec. I just got to open my window. It's getting hot in here. It's V for enemies and Shift V for friendlies. Yeah, like while I took my break, I didn't even bother looking at it. I'm like, look, Ret's going to be in the state it's going to be in, and I'm going to play the fucking class anyway. So just you're better off not like delving in and getting yourself hyped up on negative energy. You know, I just buy some extra WD-40 for my wheelchair, and we good. And fuck ever joining the toxic cesspool that is the Druid Discord, because that shit will give you cancer. It hasn't Balance been a top tier DPS for like the last fucking 3 years or something, and they're still complaining? Yeah. And I mean, there's even good players on like some of the more obscure classes as well. Yep. Amen, brother. Amen. Yeah, because I mean, you've got decent streamers for like a whole bunch of different like off-meta classes. Like Cybear plays fucking with Feral, and I think he plays Survival too, right? Yeah, I mean, Jack, consistently plays at a really high level. I don't think I've seen Maybe on. I might have to check him out because I'm definitely interested in learning more about like playing all the classes, right? Like I like to be able to play a bit of everything. So look, I mean, my alts are usually, I'll play whatever's kind of flavor of the month, but it also doesn't hurt for me to kind of have a clear idea of what is good and what is bad. Like, oof, nah. I see only books. Yeah, for sure. Like, I completely. Like, I like to do a couple of keys, like maybe one of every key on a DPS, just so I can get a bit of a feel for the place. Because, obviously, I have no fucking idea what I'm doing most of the time. But at least once I've run a dungeon once, I can kind of formulate an idea in my head. Okay, you need to go here, 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 and you can kind of put it together. And then, by running as a tank or running as a healer, you kind of understand a bit more about where things can go wrong throughout the course of the dungeon, and it kind of gives you some sort of ammunition as to yeah. I feel like more people should do that as well. It's just kind of a bit rough that you have to gear up like 20 ults. I just got a fucking epic. Hell yeah. No one noticed because it went out at the same time as all the other loot. Finds when equipped. Yeah. BOE. August. Yeah. I mean, I've dealt with that side of things where, like, randomly you'll get a healer and like a DPS will be saying to the healer, like, oh, why don't you just heal more? Like, why don't you push your buttons? It's like, bro, you use like one fucking health potion on the entire dungeon. Like, get off your ass and press a button yourself. Whack, whack. Yes, Dad. Yeah, dude. You fucking link him and he's got like Warrior's got like 20% shield block uptime and he casts Ignore Pain 5 times in the entire dungeon. But you're the problem. You're the problem. Why is this healer so weak? Right. Quack indeed. Expel Harm cast once, and it's only because he fat fingered it. That was close. I almost fucking walked into that. Duck's done. You can get out. Ooh, that's fucking. And then they also don't know how to track their freaking purifies with Nizuao, and they don't know how to. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's all good, dude. I'm good enough that I can pay mostly attention to this and still know what I'm doing. I just have to keep an eye out for mechanics. But honestly, I wouldn't be streaming if I didn't want to talk to people. Like that's, you know, that's the whole reason why I turned the stream on. anyone wants to come in and chat, dude, like that's doing this kind of content's kind of just, you know, whatever. We had too many ducks. Fucking ducks, man. They ate all the green grass on the ground, so we had nothing to stand in for the mechanic. You got the speed boost there. Yeah, dude, I really dislike this boss as a council boss. It, like, I just have to play single target on it. Like, there's nothing to be done. Like, at least, you know, if you're playing like a Destro Warlock or like a Shadow Priest or something, like you can 3-target cleave efficiently, or like or one of those fucking Mongoloid balance druids, like super easy for them. And then everybody else is just like, okay, single target. Uh yeah, that'd be a rip from me, boy. Angry Burr. Uh Dude, that would suck. Ah, dude. Like you drop your Phalanx Stomp and then the fucking thing jumps away, and then you drop it again and then it jumps away again. Yeah. I got it. Quacking on him. Sorry. Don't don't need all the grass, guys. We're gonna need it in a moment. Oof. Serious business, man. Fucking hell. That's a mess. Jesus. Yeah, I don't know about playing like a melee healer in that fight, dude. Even freaking Preservation Evoker seems like a hard sell. Like that just feels like it'd be super rough because the boss is spread out so far. Yeah, because I mean there is a build that you can play without ancient teachings, right? Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, the last time I remembered Mistweaver being fun to play as a like a hard caster was like last patch of BFA, right? Like when you had a full haste corruptions and you could get your renewings up on like 20 people. And that shit was blasting. They were doing like 200k HPS when everyone was doing 75. Oh yeah. Like I played like right towards the end of last season, I played a few keys as like Fistweaver, and that was actually super fun. I got really interested because I was watching PvP. Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, like our guy, so Sweepin is Newts in our guild. He normally played Windwalker, but because Windwalker's so bad this tier, he's playing Resto or playing Mistweaver, yeah. Yeah, 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 for sure. As soon as we kill this, I'll bring him up for you. I'm going to assume that's probably just like the default build from like Wowhead. as I said, he's not really a healer main, but he's a good player. I can link it for you if you want. Hang on. Copy. Oh, okay. That doesn't work. Maybe I can't copy and paste it out of WoW. Oh, okay. Perfect. Yes. Yeah. And I mean, you could see that he was doing decent healing, but I would assume that's also partially due to the strength of Mistweaver just being cracked right now. Yeah. And I mean, it's also not just that, but, you know, the thing that you're most comfortable with is usually what you enjoy playing the most, right? So, you know, there's that aspect to it as well, where, you know, maybe the best build has a certain couple of talents that you're not particularly interested in. And so you'll take, you know, something that's got those just one or two different talents, but feels much more comfortable for you. Yeah, Serenity's like fucking resident sleeper. You basically just like fucking pass out on your keyboard. Yeah. Not only that, but then you have to track like 20 fucking weak auras and this and that and like 4 buffs, and it's just like for the extra 2%, what real enjoyment do you get out of it? Like, that's a lot of fucking lines. Whew. Still no fucking paladin tier. Jesus. Yeah. No, I feel that completely. Like, you know, the same reason why I wasn't playing Inquisition on the Ret Paladin. You know, the opener was already like 9 fucking buttons. I didn't need an extra 2 buttons for like an extra 3% DPS. Especially when the group that I was running with, I was already like near the top of the DPS, right? Like, the extra 3% DPS meant that I had to like focus entirely on my DPS and I could do nothing else. Whereas, you know, using the less optimal build, you know, I had free time to maybe cast a heal or a lay on hands or something like that, and I could help someone or save someone without, you know, impacting my DPS so badly that it, you know, basically just fucking go to a 0 pass after the. Like, yeah, it's just really not that interested. Yeah, exactly. You know, what happens if you fuck up your, you know, your clones? Okay, you lost a 1 minute cooldown and you lost like maybe 10,000 DPS. Okay. What happens if you fuck up your Serenity? You blew a 2 minute cooldown and that's it. You tanked your DPS by like 50% and you just can't recover for the rest of the fight. That's it. You may as well have just brought a Mistweaver at that point. They do more DPS, unfortunately. Yeah. Yeah, like Broodkeeper was such a shitty fight, man, actually. But yeah, having people like identify which eggs needed to go where was just stupid. Because like I was in the egg zap group myself, and so it was like for the ads, I was blasting. I was like top 2 DPS until the ad phase was over, and then once the boss came, when we were, you know, on the boss, it was completely the opposite. It was doing 5k DPS, and it was like breaking eggs left, right, and center. Get to the edge and bait. Get to the edge to bait. Yeah, but killing the boss is the important thing, right? Like once you get it on farm, easy. You can fucking petition the raid leader to let you pad on ads for the fight, whatever. But until you get to that point, you know, it's like just do it to get the boss down, and you know maybe someone gets some nice loot in the vault or whatever. Then you know, part of raiding as a group. Poor Linksy. And fucking Windwalker was like super pumper on the ads as well, which is kind of funny. Yeah. Jesus, dude. And especially since fucking haste is shit for Windwalker as well. Exactly. Yay, haste. I mean, in that event, you would just like grab the 3 big ones and come out straight away, right? Like you wouldn't even fucking bother collecting 10. Oh, but you get to move fast, so there is that. Yeah. And now the mechanics where you've got personal responsibility, the raid crumbles. The usual culprits. It's like, yeah. Imagine having to do your own mechanics instead of just like stack spread, stack spread. Even the fucking last boss that was like stack spread, stack spread. What was it? It was Teros in Vault of the Incarnates. You remember? Did you ever play the Mythic one? So it's basically like stack spread, stack spread, stack spread, stack spread. That was the entire fight on a dime. And we had people that were just like spreading when you should stack, and then stacking when you should spread. We had one of our guys decided to swap to Demon Hunter. I think he was playing Hunter, and then he started playing Demon Hunter. And as a Demon Hunter, he would just like Fellblade and then just like drop into the cavern. It was like clockwork. Like a minute and a half into the fight, after the freaking second stack, you just zoop, and straight down into the hole. Mikey's given the healer shit. I don't know if you can read it or not. It says you have to take the ball out and clean it once in a while. Cheeky boy. I'm lagging out. Yeah, dude. Spider Boss in season one. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Shit, what's her name? Senath. Senath. Yeah, that was a fuck fight, dude. That was rough for Paladin. Senath, the Frost Whisper, or something like that. Senath, the Cold Breath. Yeah, like the Death Knight. Like the Death Knight in the group just has Death Walk for every single freaking pull in. You just don't get pulled. Simple. And then Paladin, you have to like free run in the opposite direction and put yourself in the right position. And yeah, absolutely cooked. Shadow Step. What is it when you're doing the like Shadow Blade, where it teleports you behind them to stab them in the back? Or if you're like trying to, yeah, as you're falling off the platform, you like Shadow Step back up, but sometimes you Shadow Step and it still drops you off the platform. Yeah. Luckily, our rogues were playing like one was playing assassination and the other one was playing outlaw, so it wasn't too bad. But yeah, if you're playing subtlety, I can see that going terribly wrong. Yeah, I'm lagging out. Don't res me. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, dude. Fucking WoW's dying. Look at my world ping, dude. 513. Just all of a sudden. Small indie company, by the way. Sub a Havoc and a Windwalker. Oh, Jesus, don't get me started on fucking Windwalker. Actually, Newts, the Mistweaver, he was playing fucking Windwalker on that fight, and we eventually convinced him to talent out of fucking Skyfist or whatever it was, because he just kept whoop, straight off the edge. Thanks for the raid, peeps. I'll catch us all tomorrow. Yeah, it's good. It's something to do with those monk genetics. It's maybe it's just something to do with agility classes. You can only do your best. I don't hold it against you. Yeah, but Druid's an intellect class. Ferals don't exist, remember? And after the nerf, bear tanks don't exist either. Actually, 100% it's got to be agility classes, because our Brewmaster Monk back in Jesus, what was it? The last raid of Legion, when he was tanking Portal Keeper, he would like double chi roll and go off one edge of the platform into the nether and die. Definitely agility classes. I mean, Feral is technically great, but do they actually exist? That is the question. I would assume they're like the thylacine, you know, the Tasmanian tiger. You know, they did exist at one point, but they have not existed for a long time. They may be an extinct species. DPS brain, Zug Zug. For sure. All right. Well, I think I'm going to call it here for the night. So, for anybody else that's watching, And young Linksy, stay out of trouble or cause some, whatever's more fun. We'll see you all back here for the next stream. And yeah, you can catch me on all kinds of socials, Zenarius Gaming, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, wherever you want to check it out. And yeah, we'll see you all next time. Peace.